understanding the basic psychology of the dog you have in your house is quite important. So this video here is a video of a reactive German Shepherd. So this reactive German Shepherd has learnt to bark and lunge in order to get perceived threats to go away. So the dog is feeling uncomfortable in social interactions. However, the dog is also craving social interaction. So a lot of the time with reactivity, especially in young dogs, there's a need. They have a need for safety, and then they also have a need for social bonding. And if they don't feel safe around, say, dogs, the need for social bonding doesn't quite get met. They can initially look very threatened, but then as the dog relaxes or the threat goes away, the dog then wants to interact. So in this video, I'm going to kind of show you this whole process and show you different body postures and how dogs communicate. So I'm excited to show you this because I think this is something that's really, I find it very fascinating, and a lot of people I show find it very fascinating. So let's get started. So this dog here on the right here, this little Amstaff, is my dog. So she helps me with a lot of reactive dogs, or dogs that need some social interaction. Here is Atlas. So Atlas is I think he's 11-month-old German Shepherd, and he's having some social challenges. So Gemma here is going to go up and kind of get a bit of a read on him and see how he responds. You can see here as she approaches, his ears are slightly forward, his mouth shut, and he's locked on. She's got her head low, her tail's stiff. She understands there's an element of potential threat here. She's picking up on the fact that the dog is giving off these cues, and she's going to go into his space and see how he responds. Bang, the reaction turns on. So you can see when he reacts here, so her body posture's stiff, her tail's right up, she's making eye contact, okay? And she breaks away. The second she moves, he reacts again. She holds, breaks away. Movement is something that dogs see very different to humans, and they're very, very tuned into movement. So you think about, why would a dog be so tuned into movement? Two main reasons. One is like a predatory response. So if they were to survive in the wild, they would be highly tuned to fast movement to catch prey. Number two would be if they felt like they needed to defend themselves or they felt threatened, they would be highly tuned to fast movement. If, say, a predator was approaching their environment, they would pick up on fast movement. So the way they perceive movement is from an evolutionary and survival standpoint is different to us. It meets a need for them, okay? So this dog is very reactive towards dogs' movement and is getting threatened. So you can see here now his barking's kind of changed. So it's gone from like reactive, he's got like this low waving tail. He's kind of looking at me a little bit, but his body posture's completely changed. She moves again, he reacts. See that? He's looking at me again. He's looking back at the dog. Heckles are slightly up, but the demeanor's changed. So she's created space, which has made him feel less threatened. And Gemma's kind of creating space and looking for guidance. So we've got a good bond. She knows how to behave in these scenarios. So she knows how to keep herself safe, and she knows how to make the other dog feel safer as well. And she will adapt to the dogs as needed. So you can see she's come in here seeking a bit of attention. That's fine. And he elevated a little bit. So you can see his ears went forward. Now he's broken away. Okay. So you can see her body posture's relaxed, the threat's gone down, he's disengaged, her tail's softened, she's in a comfortable zone now. She knows it's safe by me, so there's no issue. And now we're just going to wait for Atlas to calm down. Nice, so now he's relaxing. And then here is where I could reinforce him, okay? Here I could move Gemma away, okay? So initially he reacted and we stayed in the zone. So we didn't leave the scenario, but we did reduce the stress levels for the dog. We created space, but we didn't move away completely. So what we did there was, because he was so overwhelmed with her being in his space, us moving back and creating a bit of space reduces the threat level. He can actually start to think and decompress a little bit. Because Gemma's non-reactive and she's just giving clear signs and body cues, she's probably also letting off different scents to let him know who she is. And because she's responding the way she is, it's helping him calm down. Whereas if she had reacted, it would probably make this worse, okay? So the threat level for Atlas now is reducing and he's starting to feel more comfortable. I move a little bit, he's focused on me. She's now moving and he's not reacting as much. She goes up, see her tail goes stiff again. And then a moment here, I'm going to let them interact. So I'm actually going to put her in with him and show you how she coaches him through social interactions as well. She's really starting to relax, yawning, giving calming signals. You can see Atlas is definitely a little bit stressed. And here we have them in the paddock together, okay? So I brought Gemma in and I created a bit of space from the gateway and I let Gemma walk into the environment and Atlas just completely ignored her. So the second the threat could actually get to him, he just went into avoidance. He was like, okay, I don't really know how to behave. I've never been in this situation. I'm just going to avoid the dog completely. Gemma starts to roll on her back, okay? And so you'll see her do this repetitively. This is a form of dog communication. A lot of their communication is done through body posture and scent, okay? So when she starts rolling on her back, she's doing a number of different things. She's inviting him to interact. So she's saying, look, I'm non-threatening. I'll show you my belly. I'll roll on scents and I want you to come interact with me, okay? And you're going to see this happen over and over and over again. So every time Atlas gets uncomfortable, she's going to roll on her back. And you'll see he'll come up and want to interact with her. And he doesn't quite understand how. So she's being very non-threatening. He looks quite content at the moment. Now he's running in, okay? So he comes in. He goes to interact a little bit. And he's a bit uncertain. Sniffing, trying to figure out what this is. What do I do? She's remaining calm. Looking for a bit of guidance. She moves again and then he panics. See that? And then she just goes into it. She just disengages. Rolls on her back again. So every time he gets uncomfortable, she does that little roll. So first to resource, see that? So he goes first to drink the water. Rolling on her back again. Straight there. So here, so look at this. So here, she rolled on his back, he runs over. So every time she rolls on his back, he'll run over. And look at that body posture there. Tail stiff up, ears forward, leaning in, locked onto her. She's uncomfortable. You can see she's got her eyes staring at him. Ears are slightly back. Tail stiff. Here she's creating some space. Okay, and this is where she starts to coach him a little bit. So they're okay with the resource. Bit more coaching. So here she's just creating some boundaries. And she does it in a way that doesn't create more stress for the dog. So she just sets just enough of a boundary. So uses just the right amount of communication in order to get him to respond. Breaks away again. Rolls on her back. See that? Scent, he's smelling the scent. And what we'd actually found is working with this dog when I was working with the owner is we would walk around and Atlas would start reacting when he smelt a dog in the air. So we wouldn't even need to be near a dog. He would smell the dog and he would start barking, okay? So this here is like counter conditioning. So she's actually introducing him to some form of scent. He's smelling it. He's then going to react, and she's coaching him through that process. Rolling on her back again. So you can see every time he disengages and goes into avoidance, she rolls on her back. It's an invitation, and then the process starts again. And this one's really interesting, right? So she's lying there. He comes in and sniffs. Look at her shuttering her eyes. So you notice she shutters her eyes. So she's showing she's less of a threat, right? So she's giving off all the social cues to say, I'm non-threatening. I'm not a threat. Look at this here. Paw up, ears forward, tail stiff. I'll just move this again. So tail's up. And then she stays still. Look at this. Better decisions. And you'll see him slowly... Oh, wrong decision. There you go. So you can see when he makes that decision to kind of aggress on her or try to interact with her in the wrong way, she gives him a little correction. Now he's becoming a little bit more playful here, which is better. Oh, there. Tried to hump. Told him no. And she moves off. Okay. Eye contact. Break away. So you can see he's not running away from her as much, right? So he's wanting to interact with her more. So that social bonding is starting to kick in. The threat's reducing because she's responding and communicating in a way that he understands, which is non-threatening for him. Therefore, he's able to actually want and engage in more of a social behavior, okay? He's not feeling so defensive, so he can engage more in a social behavior, okay? So let's skip forward a little bit and let's see how this progresses. I've got more dogs up in the distance there, so she sees that's the pack she lives in, so they're the dogs that she lives with. So she's either with me training or she's in a pack of dogs of 6. And those are all my dogs, so she spends a lot of time interacting with dogs. So the more they interact with dogs, the more social they become, and the better they get at social communication. And they can be very useful for re-socializing dogs, especially when you have a little dog like this that she doesn't take it too far, right? She knows her boundaries, she knows where the line is, and she doesn't go over that line. She doesn't get frustrated, she doesn't get she keeps her cool. Once again, back to the rolling. And so remember, this is the dog that was barking and lunging through the fence, and that was only 45 minutes ago prior to this picture here. You can see he looks at her every now and again, he licks his lips, he's a little bit uncomfortable. But I mean, from where he was to where he is now, we're making progress. Sniffing, taking in that scent, and he's moving out of her space nicely now, but then wanting to interact straight away again. See that? So he's starting to make better decisions on his own. Oh, she goes toilet here. Let's just skip past that. Alright, so Gemma just had a toilet break, and now Atlas is running in after her. Sets a little boundary, and off again. And so this is where Atlas really starts to relax a little bit. So he's starting to feel a little bit more relaxed in the environment. You can see he's looking a lot happier. She's now actually coming up and wanting to interact with him. She's standing between me and the dog, so she's still got boundaries set in place. But clearly a lot more relaxed, okay? So this is social interaction. This is what they intuitively do with one another. This is a need that they have. And through getting the correct social interaction, they can be a lot... We can stop a lot of reactivity. We can have a dog that's a lot calmer around dogs, feels less threatened, and a lot happier in themselves because they're able to meet that need. I think the value in this is learning that this is how dogs are, and we can't change this. This is something that they require in order to be stable. So if your dog isn't getting that type of social interaction, especially if your dog's young, especially if you're like a 1-year-old dog and you're wanting social interaction, I'd really recommend finding a way to fill that need for your dog, because this will make a huge difference in Atlas's life, the owner's life, and the fulfillment for both of them.